let us continue playing Dragon Age Origins. This episode is really just going to be involving all of the camp quests that we've got. A few of the gifts we can give out as well, largely because they're taking up space. So, the small card statuette is actually for Alistair, so we will gift that to him now.
I could get used to this, you know.
And it actually gives him a plus 10, which is not a bad start to things. The bronze symbol of Andraste is definitely...
That's a wonderful
for Leliana.
I don't know what to say.
Is there anything else that's probably specific? I think the wine's specific to Win, actually. I don't know who the golden scythe is for, though. I might leave that for the time being. I don't have any books or paintings or portraits, and they would normally be what I would give to Sten. So I think we're going to leave the rest of those for the moment. We might come back and get them. But the gifts have diminishing returns. So the first of the gifts they really like, give them 10, then 9, then 8, 7, 6. And normal gifts will give them 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a few special items which, if we give them, will have specific responses. But we'll go through that a bit later. For now, I'm going to talk to Alistair.
What do you need?
Do you want to talk about Duncan?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
He was like a father to you, I understand.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the blight and everything. I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
He had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
No, I understand completely.
Of course. I'd be dead then, wouldn't I? It's not like that would make him happier. I think he came from Highever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Dwarves don't practice cremation, do they? How do your people honor your dead?
We entomb our dead within the stone beneath our tigers.
I heard about that, now that I think about it. Their spirits return to the rock, strengthening the foundation of the Tig. It sounds so strange.
Maybe so. Duncan is one of your people, however, not ours.
I suppose you're right. Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Maybe we're going to hire with you when you go.
I'd like that. So would he, I think.
So hopefully we've accrued a few pluses from that. Yeah, in fact we accrued plus 6. So not bad. I mean, I could continue talking to him and try and stack additional bonuses, but I think we'll just go around and just have that conversation with everybody.
Yes?
Let's begin with you. I'd like to talk.
Well, here I am.
That vision of yours.
I knew this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell. And the darkness drew me in.
You dreamed of the blight?
I suppose I did. That was what the darkness was, no? When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rosebush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
And this made you want to help me?
In my dream, I fell. Or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything?
Suppose I couldn't sit by either.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a blight to stop.
Okay, only a +2. But you know, it's all gradual improvements, and we don't need to get everything all at once. We could cheat and just buy the gift packs, and I might get down to that a bit later in the game. Now, Sten. My general argument for Sten is assume everything he's saying is either a joke or a punchline, and roll it.
Yes.
What were you doing in that cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
Very funny.
Thank you.
And believe me, that's about a +7. Yeah. Are you going to ask my question?
I did. Parshera, was there anything else?
I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the darkspawn waiting. As you wish.
Sten approves +11. Now, yeah, everything he said was either a joke or, you know, just deadpan. Always, you know, he's a bit more literal-minded. He almost, I guess, Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy in a few ways. But, yeah, that's a good start for him, in all honesty. And that's put him up to, where are we with him now? 21 with Alistair. 16 with Liliana. 11 with Sten. And Morrigan, we currently have a 8. So let's go and talk to Morrigan, who is on her own in the middle of nowhere. Also, I was going to see if there's anything else around, but we'll leave that there. Alright, Morrigan.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Well, I've been doing this for a long time then.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shapeshifter?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
I've never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could, but as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
You spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
That would just make you angry, I think.
No doubt it would. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Okay, only a +2. I think we picked the wrong answer at the end there, but still. Slight improvement, and we will be back. I'm not going to, as I say, do the full thing, but we'll probably make our rounds after we do each major plot point, going and getting some pluses for each of the characters, we hope.
Ah, it's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Feddick, at your service, once again. I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Warden? I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
You're free to stay. Just mind yourselves.
Wonderful. Thank the gentleman, won't you, boy?
Thank you, sir.
We won't be a bother to you and your companions, I assure you. If you should need enchantments, simply talk to my boy. Otherwise, come speak with me.
Let's speak to Sam.
Hello.
The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed.
What enchantment does he do?
He can fold lyrium into almost any weapon or piece of armor, though naturally some of the more extravagant materials will take more lyrium than others. It's a process that some of the master smiths back in Orzammar will perform, but my boy here is just as adept at it. Isn't that right, boy?
Enchantment!
And there you have it.
Well, I want some enchantment then.
Enchantment!
And so thus, as you can see, we got a few weapons. Unfortunately, we've only got 2 that can currently take anything. We have Journeyman Lightning Runes, which give a +2. And I think we're going to give them all that one. Except...
Enchantment?
enchantment!
Enchantment!
And we will give a flame rune to this. I like flame runes on my weapons because it just, gives them a self-made light source. Unfortunately, I don't think I can equip the Oathkeeper, can I? No, it's got a strength of 15. Unless Alistair can grab it, I suppose. +1 strength, armor penetration, healing effect. Yeah, okay. We're putting better for sword. I know I wanted to keep with the maces and things, but still. We'll go with that. Especially since it has the fire damage as well. Right.
You and your friends are formidable folk, indeed. It's good to have you along on the road.
So what's the story exactly?
I suppose since you told me about you being a Grey Warden, it's only fitting for me to be as open. I'm originally from Orzammar, just as you are, I suspect. You don't have the look of a surface dwarf about you. I was a merchant there, too. Merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose.
Go on.
So, as I said, things were going well. But good things must come to an end. One day, a noble woman came to my store. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that.
I'm well aware. What happened then?
Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been paying these castless thugs to venture out into the deep roads for me. The lost tigers. They're full of things that people left behind. Sometimes you can find a treasure. Something worth a little gold.
Better to do something with them than leave them to rot.
That's exactly how I see it. The noblewoman, she wasn't too happy with the theft of her brother's braces. I don't know what they planned for me, and I didn't want to find out. Bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the surface first opportunity I got. Never looked back.
Fascinating story, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, is there anything the boy or I can get you?
Where did these goods come from? Not the roads.
Look, we don't rob people, all right? We don't take things from people that need them. The things in the lost tigers, what good did they do lying there? I brought them back to Orzammar, where people could look at them and remember. It's not all that different up here. There are places long abandoned by the humans everywhere. Even more now with the darkspawn coming.
What do you mean?
People flee from the blight with good reason, but they forget things. Things with value and meaning. They leave them behind because they're frightened and desperate. And sometimes, my boy and I, we find our way to these places before the horde descends, and we save these things. I take them away so the darkspawn don't get them. Is that so bad? They destroy everything they touch.
I suppose it's better than having the darkspawn take it all.
That's what I tell myself, too. Ah, these are dark times indeed. Dark times, my friend.
You didn't mention your son in your tale.
Ah, yes. I'm married to a fine woman back in Denerim, it's true. She'd give me a son if she could, but that's not likely to ever be. Sandal here. I found him in the deep roads years ago. Abandoned, I think, and he was never quite right in the head. I took him in, and I brought him with me when I came here to the surface. He may not be my blood, true, but I think of him as one.
We left Orzammar.
That's right, boy. Maybe one day we'll see it again.
That was generous of you.
It's not as if I don't benefit, mind you. Turns out the boy's a natural working with enchantments. He might have even been lyrium-addled. I never thought of that before, to be honest. Happens sometimes. He can work an enchantment into just about anything, however, given some time. Could probably open his own shop, if he knew how.
Enchantment.
Well, he does seem to enjoy it, at least.
Let me see your wares.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected. And with your discount.
We're extremely happy with our discount. So there are a lot of things here, including various gifts and things. Some of them are quite silly in a lot of ways. We also have a backpack here, but that is for a lot of gold. A lot of gold, but it's almost got to be worth it. We also have some Grandmaster runes here. We have some actual gifts. Hellstone and Ember for increased things there. The Dwarven Merchant Belt for increased monetary gain. There's a few good things here, in all honesty. Including that, which is just a ridiculous, ridiculous thing. Tome of Physical Technique renders 1 talent or skill. We have lesser injury kits, and I think I'm going to pick up all of these. As much as I would love to get the backpack increased, I think that's got to be the way we go with this. So we have 11 and 15, which is fine. We can sell the Iron Dagger off. We can also sell our... I think we might as well sell for tier 2 stuff. At least at this point. So tier 3, tier 2, tier 2, tier 2, tier 2, and we'll sell those off as well. So that puts us back up to about 8. Is there anything else here that we could get rid of? The fancy vase. The tribal necklace is actually a gift, so we'll keep all the gift things. Trying to work out what that was about there. I also should probably sell these balms off because I rarely use these, if ever. So I'm going to just quickly sell all of these off. I might keep the poisons around because I'll occasionally lose. And the Lyrium potions have minor usage. I'd prefer to have them than not, in all honesty. So, with that having happened, yeah, I guess we take this. Gives us 100 capacity now, and that probably is as good as we're going to get for a while. All right, let's then move on and speak to Levy.
You're a hard man to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the Coins? Levy the Trader?
I am Duragon. I've never heard of you.
Really? He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
What promise did Duncan make to you?
My family... well, past a bit checkered to see. Nobles look at us with disdain. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arlen banished the Wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
It's a bit drastic, isn't it?
And then some. Not much is known about that time. After King Arlen died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one. And our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
What favour did you ask of Duncan?
I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honour.
Honour is paramount. We are dwarves. Ever heard of Soldier's Peak?
Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arlen's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few never lost our... So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honour.
Why didn't Duncan help you?
Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got plenty busy recruiting new wardens and meeting with good King Caelan. Duncan said he would help after the Battle of Ostagar. Said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance.
Your family's faith will be rewarded. I will help you.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Okay. So a few codex entries that we'll just quickly go over. So we have bears! And... characters. Sophia Dryden. And some quest-related stuff. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it for the moment. We will head off onto the world map and we will decide our next location. So, the party we will take is, for the moment, Alistair,
Indeed.
Liliana, and Stan.
Yes.
And we have a number of places we can go. So, there's the Frostback Mountains, which is just west of Ferelden, forming the natural border. There's Sutra's Pass, Redcliffe Village, Flemeth's Hut. I don't think we can get to Ostagar yet. Let's think about where we actually want to go, though. We might even want to go to Soldier's Peak to start with, or possibly Denerim. I don't want to go to Redcliffe, because Redcliffe is a little bit of an awkward one. Maybe we should do the mages first. We can return to Ostagar at a later point, and there are some other things we can do. Alright, I know what we're going to do first. We're going to head to Soldiers Pass. Yeah, go right past this where absolutely nothing is going wrong. Promise you, nothing is going wrong there. Okay, all the abilities suddenly get activated. It's, you know, being the helpful bard. We also have some more elf roots. I don't know if this guy is going to have enough of money for us at this. I know he's a merchant, and I think he might even have something we want, but... Okay. So I picked up some elf roots. Let's talk to Felix.
You'll have to forgive me if I seem a bit nervous. Not many people travelling in this part of Ferelden. Of course, that's part of my problem, isn't it? Mule got spooked by a wisp and ran off into the woods. Now what do I do?
You're asking me to find your mule?
Oh, no. I sent the elf to do that. I wouldn't dream of asking a stranger to do it. Allow me to introduce myself. Felix de Grosbois, merchant and entrepreneur at your service.
I am Duragon. Pleased to meet you. We will be nice and polite to everybody.
I don't normally take this route, but with the war, I was hoping for a bit of luck and good weather in the mountains. Sadly, I've had neither. Ugh, this trip has been one miserable disaster after another. I don't suppose you'd consider helping a fellow out?
What do you need?
Of all the other things that went wrong, the worst is this artifact I brought in Jada. It's a control rod, I'm told, for a golem. No point in me keeping it, however, as I'll never get to use it. But, maybe you could?
What's the catch?
The catch? Yeah, I suppose it is a catch, isn't it? The catch is that the golem didn't come with the rod. It's supposed to be down in a village down south, waiting to be activated. Even if I could get down there, which I can't, I understand the place has been overrun by darkspawn. That's not such an issue for adventurous types like yourself, surely? Or I'm hoping that's so, at least.
Yes, I could use it.
Just as well. As I mentioned before, you'll find the golem down south, in a town called Honleith. I'll mark it here on your map. Just hold up the rod and say Dulaf Gar. That will wake the golem up, so I'm told. I hope it works.
Doesn't golem? Sounds good.
Best of luck to you then. Now, I guess it's up to me to find that mule myself.
I was going to buy some things from you, but okay. Well, I guess we have a quest then. We also have a control rod for a golem. So, I think at that point we will say until next time. We will go off and find this golem. So until then.